all of you to the 7th edition of the India Forum on China, organized by the Institute of Chinese Studies, New Delhi, the MIT School of Government, MIT World Peace University, and the Center of Excellence for Himalayan Studies, Shiv Nadar Institution of Eminence, Delhi NCR. Today we have with us an eminent panel of scholars, practitioners, to begin this particular conference. In order, we have with us today Professor Alka Acharya, Honorary Director, Institute of Chinese Studies, and Chairperson, Center for East Asian Studies, JNU, who will be chairing this session. The opening remarks today shall be delivered by Dr. Parimal Sudhakar, Co-convenor, 7th IFC at Pune, and Associate Professor, MIT School of Government, MIT World Peace University. The welcome address shall be delivered by Professor R.M. Chitnis, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Dr. V.D.Karad, MIT World Peace University, Pune. Followed by this, we shall have the keynote address, which shall be delivered by Lieutenant General Ajay Kumar Singh, Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal, former Lieutenant Governor, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and former GOC&C, Southern Command, Indian Army. We are most honored today to have with us revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath V.D.Karad ji, the founder president of MIT World Peace University, who shall be delivering the presidential address. And finally, the vote of thanks shall be delivered by Dr. Aravind Yelery, convener, 7th IFC at Pune, Honorary Fellow, Institute of Chinese Studies, New Delhi, and Associate Professor, JNU. Before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, I request all of you to please stand where you're sitting. We shall now have the World Peace Prayer.
प्रतिपाद्या जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा देवातुति गणेषु सकलार्थमति प्रकाशु मणे निवृत्तिदासु अवधारि बोधि गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Dr. Parimal Sudhakar to please deliver the opening remarks. I also request all of you to please keep your cell phones on silent for the duration of the session. Thank you.
Chair of today's inaugural program, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, Vice-Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, Dr. R.M. Chitnis, sir, Professor from my alma mater, Professor Dr. Alka Acharya, and the keynote speaker of today's inaugural session, Dr. Lieutenant General A.K. Singh, sir, and all the present students and scholars who have gathered here for the 7th edition of India-China Forum. I welcome all of you on behalf of MIT School of Government, Institute of Chinese Studies, New Delhi, and Shiv Nadar University, Delhi NCR. It is my immense pleasure to give opening remarks of the 7th India-China Forum, the theme of which itself elaborates the immenseness of the deliberations that are going to happen in the next 2 days. The intersection of science and technology in China's industrial revolution and its challenges to India and the world. This theme itself suggests how much the world has changed in last 200 years, last 150 years, last 100 years, or even in last 50 years. 50 years ago, perhaps we would not have discussed about China's industrial revolution. What would have been discussed would be the industrial revolution that happened in the West. But now, we and the entire world are discussing about China's industrial revolution and the challenges that revolution has thrown before the entire world and including to that of India. The developments that have occurred in China over the years have also created a lot of questions before the world community and for the China itself. One of the important questions is the kind of development that has happened in China, which could be termed as China's own industrial revolution. How much it is Chinese and how much that particular development was copied from the West or from other parts of the world. And in that respect, this forum is going to discuss the Chinese-ness of this development, or whether the China still is far away from giving to the world what could be called as the Chinese model of industrial development and industrial revolution. The first session tomorrow would be talking about the Chinese essence Western application to Chinese essence and Chinese applications. Another question that this development has produced is about the role of China in the techno-nationalism and the great power rivalry in the world. We have seen in the last century how techno-rivalry amongst the great powers in Europe have produced 2 world wars. During the Cold War period, we have seen techno-rivalry between United States and the Soviet Union. And today, everyone is posing themselves vis-a-vis China. And thus, in today's context, China is increasingly gaining a central place in the great power rivalry. It is US-China techno-rivalry, US-Japan techno-rivalry, it is US-EU techno-rivalry. And what impact it would have on the world is a big question today in front of India and the entire world community. The third aspect that has emerged out of this development is what impact these developments have on the environment, on the sustainability, and in that context again, how much the Chinese developments are different or whether they are same as the developments happened in the West in the 19th and 20th century. And therefore today, for China and for the entire world, this has become extremely important to discuss about sustainability of the developments that have happened, that are happening in China and their impact on the world environment as well. This 7th India Forum on China is going to discuss this particular aspect as well. The fourth important question is about the future of China and the future of world as well. And in that context, the civil-military fusion and the use of technology in that particular fusion, as it is happening in China, it would happen in the days to come in China, and what kind of a role model China is going to present before the world. We have seen how in last 2 or 3 decades, Chinese state has increasingly used technology to control the society, and through that to create an iron fist over the state apparatus and over the society per se. Today, for many societies, fortunately or unfortunately, that is emerging as a role model, that technology must be used by the state to control the society. And in this particular aspect, Perhaps China is setting an example before many other countries in the world, and therefore what is happening in China today in terms of the civil-military fusion is certainly going to have impact on many other societies and countries in the world. And this particular aspect is also going to be discussed in this India Forum on China. With these words, I once again welcome all of you, and I also thank Institute of Chinese Studies for choosing School of Government as a platform to organize this particular important conference. MIT School of Government is always happy to come forward and make such partnership to deliberate on issues of national and international importance. And I would like to conclude by saying that while we are discussing an important aspects of intersection of science and technology, here at the MIT World Peace University, we also believe that science and technology could be useful for prosperity and peace only if it has a solid philosophical foundation. And science and technology should not be seen, should not be viewed merely as tools of development, but science and technology should also be seen as a tools of creating harmonious society, for creating better understanding amongst the world community, and also to ensure a world peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I shall now give a brief about the MIT School of Government. The MIT School of Government was started in the year 2005 and was envisaged by Honorable Dr. Rahul Vishwanath Karad ji. In its journey of 20 glorious years, the MIT SOG has moved on the aim of bringing young and educated individuals to politics and public life. In the course of these 20 years, there have been over 400 alumni, 2 of which have recently made the MIT SOG extremely proud. In the recent Maharashtra Assembly elections, 2 of the MIT SOG's alumni, Shri Hemant Ogleji and Shri Sumit Wankhdeji, have been elected from their respective constituencies. I shall now request our technical team to please play a short film on the MIT School of Government. Thank you. I would now like to invite Professor R.M. Chitnis, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Dr. V.D.Karad, MIT World Peace University, to please deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is great honor to stand before you in this distinguished gathering of 7th India-China Forum, an event that symbolizes the enduring importance of dialogue, collaboration. Okay. This 7th India-China Forum, an event that symbolizes the enduring importance of dialogue, importance of collaboration, and mutual respect between 2 of the world's oldest and largest civilizations. On behalf of Founder President and UNESCO Chairholder for Democracy, Human Rights and Peace, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, on behalf of our Executive President Dr. Rahul Vishwanath Karad sir, all the trustee members, on behalf of faculty, staff and students of MIT World Peace University, may I extend a warm welcome to all the dignitaries present here today. May we welcome all the guests from associates in this particular India Forum of China, the Institute of Chinese Studies, and the Shiv Nadar University, Professor Alka Acharya ji, Lieutenant General Ajay Kumar ji, who is a former governor of Andaman Nicobar and former governor of Pondicherry, and Dr. Aravind Yelery ji from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and Air Marshal Bhushan Gokhale sir. Sirs, it is our honor and privilege to welcome you in this gathering in MIT World Peace University. India Forum on China, which was established in 2017, And the conference that was organized by the Institute of Chinese Studies, New Delhi, in collaboration with various universities and academic institutions. The conference brings together prominent scholars, practitioners, policymakers from India and abroad to engage in discussion on a relevant theme related to China with a focus on India's perspective. Each conference explores various sub-themes through a multidisciplinary approach aiming to provide comprehensive analysis. And at the end of the forum, that is this conclave, a detailed report is created for policymakers, for media, and for the public. This time, MIT World Peace University is very happy to host this conclave of intense discussions, deliberations, and debates. Dr. V.D.Karad sir, who created MIT Group, and now cluster of 6 universities which sir is Chancellor, emphasizes the integration of science and technology with principles of peace and spirituality. The institution believes in advancing technological and scientific innovations while promoting values such as harmony, compassion, ethical leadership. This unique blend of intellectual rigor and spiritual wisdom aims to shape up well-rounded individuals who can contribute to both the technological progress and the greater good of society. MIT School of Government, as it was shown in the film, was established in 2005, now offers 2 years master's program in political leadership since 2005. Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir is dedicated to preparing students for careers in politics by developing expertise in governance, politics, and leadership. The institution also hosts several social initiatives, including National Legislators Conference, Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, National Women Parliament, and Rashtriya Sarpanch Sansad, aimed at raising awareness of issues of politics and issues of governance. My friends, India and China, two of the world's oldest civilization and largest civilization, share a rich history of cultural exchange and collaboration. From Silk Route, facilitating trade and cultural dialogue, to the spread of Buddhism, fostering philosophical unity, their intertwined past highlights a legacy of shared wisdom and cooperation. Recently, we installed a full-size statue of the Chinese philosopher, traveler Huan Zheng in the world's largest peace dome at our university campus in Loni, created by Dr. Karad sir. In the modern global landscape, although carrying different political ideologies, both nations have emerged as a pillar of stability, pillar of progress, and they are contributing significantly to the global economy, science, and culture. I come from area of finance, and if you identify these two countries, India, China, put together their GDP, where the rest of the world will be. But that is not the point of discussion today. I am just making a welcome speech. Both the nations are exploring economic synergies through trade, renewable energy development, and technology sharing agreements. While challenges exist, cooperation initiatives underscore their mutual recognition of the need to coexist peacefully and thrive collectively. May I repeat? We need to coexist peacefully and we need to thrive collectively, together. By building on their shared legacy and leveraging modern aspirations, India and China can lead the way towards a more stable and prosperous global order. And such important endeavors, my dear friends, academic institutions play a pivotal role in shaping the future leaders who prioritize peace and cooperation by fostering knowledge, fostering skills, and fostering values essential for resolving the conflicts and promoting the harmony. MIT World Peace University, Pune, India, has MA in Peace and Conflict Management program, which exemplifies this mission through its interdisciplinary curriculum. The program covers modules of conflict analysis, modules of human rights advocacy, and modules of mediation techniques, and equipping students with theoretical insights and the practical tools. I'm sure that this 3-day conclave will provide a platform to discuss the various issues pertaining to all these aspects and come out with a prudent thought on how we can take the Indo-China relations ahead. Once again, welcome to all the guests. And before I close, may I share one idea that the US dollar and euro and British pound are always costlier than Chinese and Indian economy. What about India, China come together and start Asian currency? This has been discussed earlier also, but it's not happening. Tomorrow, if we too have a separate currency, rest of the world will be somewhere else. Think over this in this day's conference. We once again welcome all the guests on behalf of Dr. Karad, sir, and thank you all participants for coming here in India-China Forum, and wish healthy, fruitful dialogue, fruitful discussion in the various sessions. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai China.
Thank you so much, sir. I shall now humbly request revered Professor Vishwanath Karad ji to please felicitate Professor Alka Acharya, Honorary Director, Institute of Chinese Studies. Professor Alka Acharya. Air Marshal Bhushan Gokhale. Thank you so much, sir. May I now please invite Professor Alka Acharya, Honorary Director, Institute of Chinese Studies, and Chairperson, Center for East Asian Studies, JNU, to please deliver the welcome remarks.
Namaskar. Adarniya Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad and all the distinguished dignitaries on the stage, the delegates to the 7th IFC, and the most important segment here, the students of the School of Government, MIT. To all of you, once again, a very, very warm namaskar. I must begin by saying that I am feeling absolutely overwhelmed, having come here, meeting Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, getting an understanding of his vision, his philosophy, his life's work, looking at this absolutely amazing place that he has created. And I feel a great sense of honor and happiness that the Institute of Chinese Studies has got this opportunity to collaborate with the School of Government MIT in hosting and of Shiv Nadar University, who are also our long-standing partners, in hosting the 7th IFC. I shall be brief. All I want to say is, on behalf of the Institute, our chairperson, Professor Srimati Chakraborty, she was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, some medical issues in her family, so she has asked me to convey her best wishes. But on behalf of the Institute and Shiv Nadar University and MIT, we all welcome you to the 7th IFC. Parimal has given you a very, very good rationale and a very good background to the identification of this theme for the conference. All I want to say is, and I will echo here the words of the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Chitnis, that we need to reconceptualize the way we are looking at China and the way we are understanding India-China relations. We are so used to thinking of China only in terms of a challenge that we do not really open up the creative spaces and the kind of new thinking that is necessary to move forward in the 21st century. When we decided to look at science and technology, it was with the understanding that China is, of course, one of the important civilizations, but equally India has been very significant in contributing many, many important scientific and technological discoveries to the world. Where are we in this entire matrix? I recall at the time of the 2008 Olympics that took place in Beijing, they showcased 4 great achievements: gunpowder, the printing press, paper, and the compass. And they showcased it as the inventions that changed the world. 100 years later, they were complaining that the lack of science in China had led to their colonial domination and enslavement. Today, once again, we are looking at a China which is determined to now put all its energies, put all its resources, human, material, and take the objective of scientific development as a national challenge. I think we need to understand this very, very carefully. What are the lessons that we can learn from it? What are the kind of ways in which we can come together? Where are the pitfalls? These are some of the issues that we hope will be discussed. We hope they will open up new spaces for more investigation and research. The mission of the Institute of the Chinese Studies is to spread interest in China, to spread the idea that without understanding this most important neighbor of ours, we really will be fighting with one hand behind our back. And I say fighting not in the sense of actual combat, but fighting in the sense of carving out our own space, carving out our own path in collaboration and in cooperation. So those are some of the issues that motivated, animated us. Parimal, Aravind, the convener and co-conveners have been very, very assiduously and sincerely working on this. And we hope that we can open up some more ideas which will chime with the values, the objectives, the goals of this wonderful institute. Thank you very much. I welcome you all once again and look forward to the next 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I am honored to welcome Lieutenant General Ajay Kumar Singh, Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal former Lieutenant Governor, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and former GOC&C, Southern Command, Indian Army, to please deliver the keynote address.
Esteemed Dr. Vishwanath Karad, to start with, let me echo the sentiments expressed by Professor Alka Acharya. It's really fortunate for some of us to keep visiting this great institution. And for me, I personally cherish the few moments I'm able to spend with Dr. Karad. Sir, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alka Acharya, who is leading the 7th India-China Forum, all other distinguished guests, including Air Marshal Gokhale, our guests from Taiwan, and I can see some of my students sitting here whom I was in class with last month. My salutations to you all. I was at MIT for some talks to the School of Government last month, and that is when Dr. Parimal told me that he would like me to come here for this inaugural address. I had no choice. So here I am. But let me start by saying that I am not a China expert. In the armed forces, I've spent my whole life on the Western Front looking at Pakistan. I'm a tank man. And I retired as Southern Army Commander, which also looks more at Pakistan. But I have some expertise in military strategy and have contributed to the Indian armed forces there. I also happen to be one of the select band of military officers who have trained in Soviet Union and NATO at the height of Cold War. So I understand the gamut of that. In 2008-9, when I was Director General Perspective Planning of the Indian Army, I was instrumental, without being a China expert, instrumental in getting the government to change focus to China as a primary front from Pakistan, which till then had dominated our conceptualization. I also got the government to accept the two-front threat and challenge that loomed in the future and which is a very disturbing reality today. Consequently, the government was able to sanction additional capabilities in the form of a mountain strike corps, additional armor for Ladakh, and many more force multipliers. Let me just pose a question to all China experts. And sorry, I'm repeating that again and again. China moved into Ladakh in 2020. And that came as a surprise to most of us. Maybe there was information, but our analysis was lacking. And I am surprised why not one expert on China could see through the Chinese designs. If we had used technology, which is today's theme, if we had used AI, we would have probably predicted and preempted the Chinese move into Ladakh. You know, the United States was able to predict Russian offensive into Ukraine within 3 days, 22 to 25th February, using the power of technology. Okay, so since I see a lot of students in the audience, I'm going to confine myself to basic exploration of the theme of this seminar and leave it to the experts to dwell deeper. Let me start with science and technology. Science is basically the study of the natural world by analyzing data through a systemic process called scientific method. Main branches of science are physics, chemistry, and biology. Technology is an application of science to create devices that can solve our problems and undertake various tasks. So students should be clear on the difference between science and technology. China has now invested, now means in the last 30, 40 years, invested very deeply in science as well as technology. Whereas we in India have invested in services, management, and such like subjects. And the difference can be seen and felt today in the way we both manufacture. Technology is basically an application of science, and it's difficult to separate the two. Now let's trace the history of the industrial revolutions. The Industrial Revolution refers to the phase when the world started shifting from an agricultural society to an industrial one. The first industrial revolution, generally around 1765, was about steam power for mechanized production, use of coal, etc. The second industrial revolution, 100 years later, was for mass production using electric power. The third industrial revolution, for automatic production, used electronics and IT in the second half of the 20th century. The fourth industrial revolution, which we are dealing with in this seminar, is ongoing at the moment, and it is about the Internet of Things, about AI, and connections between machines and between humans and machines. So let's look at the fourth industrial revolution in slight detail. The fourth industrial revolution can be defined as the integration of intelligent digital technologies. Integration of intelligent digital technologies into manufacturing and industrial processes. It encompasses a set of technologies that include Internet of Things, networks, AI, big data, robotics, quantum computing, and automation. The concept of the fourth industrial revolution was coined in 2016, though it had been simmering already, by Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum at Davos. And he mentions this in a book of the same name, The Fourth Industrial Revolution. As per him, the fourth industrial revolution creates a world in which virtual and physical systems of manufacturing, cooperate with each other in a flexible way. But its scope is much wider than above. Occurring simultaneously are waves of further breakthrough in areas ranging from gene sequencing to nanotechnology, from renewable energies to quantum computing. It is the fusion of these technologies and their interaction across the physical, digital, and biological domains that makes the fourth industrial revolution different from previous ones. USA and China are world leaders, leaving Europe and others far behind in the fourth industrial revolution. Now let's focus a little on where China is concerning the fourth industrial revolution. They also have coined a term in 2015, Made in China 2025 or China 2025. China's 2025 was conceived in 2015, but today China's fourth industrial revolution and 2025 are synonymous with each other. This comprehensive strategy of China focuses heavily on intelligent manufacturing in 10 strategic spheres and is aimed at securing China's position as a global powerhouse in high technology industries such as robotics, aviation, and now new energy vehicles such as electrical and biogas. Also ensuring that Chinese manufacturing remains competitive against low income and low-cost manufacturing nations like India and Vietnam. With a focus on quality, the investment is towards technological innovations and smart manufacturing in areas such as machine learning. This involves combining the internet with wireless sensors and robotics to improve its manufacturing efficiency, quality, and productivity. This would enable China to move up the value-added chain and reposition itself from a low-cost manufacturer, which it is today, to a direct competitor to nations like US, Germany, Japan, South Korea, and even Taiwan in some fields. The main difficulty for China is the presence or the pressure it faces from two sides. Those more advanced economies like Germany and Japan, and the low-cost manufacturers like India and Vietnam. Fears over Chinese expansion and dominance in strategically important sectors has inevitably led to strains between China and the Western world, increasing the likelihood of retaliation and imposition of very high tariffs on Chinese goods, which the incoming President Trump has promised. Foreign companies complain that to invest or do business in China, they must enter into joint ventures with Chinese firms under terms that require them to share sensitive intellectual property rights and advanced technological know-how. Policymakers and security officials in the US and other developed countries increasingly see China's efforts to become a dominant player in advanced technologies as a national security problem, blurring the lines between civil and military technologies. For instance, the cobalt industry, which powers most modern electronics, means that entire industries could come under the control of a geopolitical rival power like China. This is where a democratic India offers a more benign alternative to Western nations, leading technology firms. But to take advantage, we must get our act together. A stable and peaceful environment internally is a must. consistency in trade stroke investment policies, ease of doing business, strong regulatory policies and systems. We have thus far neglected our manufacturing base, focusing more on the services sector. If we keep our future focus right, the assurance is, or the assessment is, that by 2050, India will be able to, if not equal China, at least close the tremendous gap that exists today. Today, the Chinese and Indian gap, India is almost 4.5 times behind China. And if we get our act together, by 2050, we would have reached almost 40% of the capacity of China. But having looked at the bright side, let's look at what are the concerns today. The fourth industrial revolution, as we know it, also raises profound social and political questions. How will tax revenue be generated and society security financed if human labor and the income derived from it are no longer a major source of value? How will compensations levels be fixed when education no longer determines an individual's earning potential? And how will the market decide what is fair and what is not? What will it mean for human well-being if work is no longer a major source of self-worth? These are profound questions which our society and the world is struggling with. Moreover, the benefits and costs of such transformations, as envisaged in the fourth industrial revolution, will not be equally distributed across countries or within a country, as highly developed countries will depend on basic material extracted from low-income countries, often under exploitative, dangerous, and dirty conditions. The sheer size of China's economy means that what happens there matters for the rest of the world, as governments and researchers everywhere scramble to understand and navigate these historic transitions. The potential benefits of dialogue and collaborative research with China are huge. There is a need to establish a collective conversation around key issues and depending on the collaborative research for global benefit. But let me add two words not only of concern but of caution. First is about the future progress of artificial intelligence. I recently read an interview of Yuval Noah Harari, whose rise to the top echelons of global public intellectuals has been meteoric since the runaway success of his book *Sapiens*, a 2011 classic. On the top risks from AI, he says, on one level, there is a risk of massively increasing global irregularities or inequalities, both within countries but also between countries. It could become a repeat of the Industrial Revolution, where a few countries got the power to dominate and exploit the rest of the world. AI could do the same on an even larger scale, as only a few countries, maybe just US and China, lead the world in development of AI. And we all know how much more powerful AI is. He adds that we are not just giving more and more power to AI in virtually every field, and you have billions of AIs interacting with each other, making decisions, creating new structures, and we humans stand to lose control with dreadful consequences. If you all remember, a few years back, Iranian General Soleimani was taken out by some kid sitting in New York on a computer who fired the missile which killed him. Now that's the power of AI. So far, world efforts at arriving at some consensus to regulate unmanned vehicles have failed. And people are warning that we are on a dangerous path. And finally, let me talk of even a more frightening future. The word is singularity, Singularity. How many students have heard of this word singularity? Raise your hand, please. Just few. I would recommend to all of you at least get aware of what this means. Let me just explain in brief. In technology, the singularity describes a hypothetical future where technological growth is out of control and irreversible. These super intelligent and powerful technologies will radically and unpredictably transform our reality. First, AI would reach human levels of consciousness, intelligence, and capabilities, which is known as Artificial General Intelligence, AGI for short. According to the theory of singularity, after reaching AGI, these computer programs and AI will turn into super intelligent machines with cognitive capacities beyond that of humans. At that point, human beings would no longer have control over these advanced machines. Machine intelligence superior to the human brain is also known as artificial superintelligence, a highly speculative concept. According to the theory, significant inventions in genetics, nanotechnology, automation, and robotics will lay the foundation for singularity in technology during the first half of the 21st century. Entrepreneurs and public figures like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking have expressed concern over the uncontrolled advances in AI leading to human extinction. The ball clearly lies in our court. With this short perspective, I wish your forum and discussions over the next 2-3 days all success. Dhanyavad, Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request Revered Professor Vishwanath V.D.Karad, Honorable Founder President of MIT World Peace University, to please deliver the presidential address.
Let me put it on record, my special appreciation to our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Mr. Ravi Chitnis, and Parimal Maya Sudhakar for organizing this very unique event on the very unique event of the 7th India Forum on China. The moment we take the two names, it indicates the whole scenario behind the whole world. But creating a India Forum and trying to speak and network the minds of China and India on the present background of the chaos, confusion, bloodshed, massacre, terrorism, and all the things what you see around. The world is quite afraid on this occasion too. I'm not creating a fear complex, but you must have been feeling little more wiser after listening to these words of wisdom of Lieutenant General Ajay Kumar Singh Sahab and our sister Alka Acharya. Basically, Ravi bringing ICS, MIT School of Government, this Yelery University, and the other institution of Himalayan studies together to think upon this very issue. It's not only the science and technology that is what is needed to be understood on this occasion. You know, the world over, the scientifically or technologically with the modern science and modern technology of IT, computer, artificial intelligence, you take the various names, the Google, Facebook, how many names I don't know, but it has been stated by the great noble son of India nearly about 130 years back. He said after all the revelations of the understanding of the science, modern technology, and the related aspects of the philosophy of life too, what the world will understand is nothing but to realize the very unique expression which was given by him. And he had told the world in the very first World Parliament at Chicago, he said that please remember, it's only the union of science and spirituality / religion will help to bring harmony and peace to mankind. What for this conference? What is the search? What is the purpose? Is the main issue being an educational institution? What is the duty of the people like us, the educationists, the learned scholars, thinkers and philosophers? My very dear friend, Mr. Air Marshal Gokhaleji is sitting on my left. They are all learned scholars, thinkers, philosophers. But when we think and try to understand the present scenario, I think I showed some small film in my room wherein I had the fortune of installing the statue of a great philosopher before 2000 years from China. I don't know what it indicates to me and why I was given the signal to install that statue of the Yuan Sang in the World Peace Dome, which is in the known human history. For the first time, such a unique monumental creation has been created, which is being now recognized by the world over as a spiritually oriented scientific laboratory. Scientific laboratory with all these terms what we have used just now. You know, you just click and speak to anything on Mars or the moon. You can trigger. What for? And what is going to be the purpose and what is going to be ultimately? I am tempted to make a statement to you friends that in the year 1996, in this very hall, we had the 700 delegates from world over discussing about the very role of science, religion, spirituality and philosophy of life. Life, that very life, what is the mechanism? the body mechanism, the body, the brain, the spirit, the soul, and the mind. And I have been asking to myself a question, what is the chemistry of mind? Very ridiculous question, very difficult to answer. But we have gathered here together to network the minds, to join each other and create some system of promoting the life system itself and understand the scientific mechanism behind. The 4-bar mechanism, as it's called. Being an engineer, I can make some statements before you friends. I'm not here to advise or preach you anything, but I'm trying to understand and learn myself what is my duty. Duty towards my mother, the father, the family, the society, the nation, and the whole world. World as one family. And when I say these words, I don't know where I stand and when we stand, where we stand. And what is the scenario, and then what is the duty of the educational institutions, the universities, colleges, and what should be the way of the school of government, what we have been trying to talk about. I will just appeal to you, friends, what the United Nations is doing. What is the role of United Nations? When the world is under so much chaos, confusion, kitna bloodshed, massacre, terrorism, you know it very well. What is the solution is the main issue. For us, very beautiful, very smart, every one of us. Everything is available. I have a small book. This is written about 20 years back. This is called the Bell of Hiroshima. You know what Hiroshima stands for. In Japan, the bell of Hiroshima has started ringing once again on its own. Nobody is ringing, but there is an invisible signal which has been given to this bell, and it is ringing once again to convey the message of world peace. Please be careful. Please understand the mechanisms. You know the stockpiling of the weapons, the nuclear, biological, chemical, atomic, you take the names. And so much of stockpiling has taken place that if you trigger even wrongly or rightly, it can destroy this Mother Earth of ours. So beautiful, so decent, so much enjoyable. Everything is available. But it can destroy within a fraction of a second. And some foolish head of nations, I'm saying the nation head of state, if he goes in a wrong direction and a fancy and a crazy to play some power game in a wrong direction, what will happen? And as a university head in this very hall, I'm telling you, 700 delegates when they came, they were from China to Russia to America to Africa. And we had a long discussion in this very hall, and the outcome has been finally the promotion of culture of peace in the whole world. Finally, what for these organizations have come together? Ultimately to show the pathway of harmony and peace to mankind. You know, there is a new advice from the greatest scientists of the whole world and the saints of the world. They say, friends like us, they say that now you should only not start teaching the science and physics and technology, but you should start the schools of consciousness and reality. That has been the advice being given by Albert Einstein, Schrodinger, Penrose, all the great people of the whole world. And they have been telling that you should start and understand the very mechanism of this universe itself, of which we are a part of it. We are all part of it, including myself, or the prime ministers or the heads of states, whether it's America or Russia or China or India. You take any name and you find out what is the situation today. Are they really satisfied? Are they really happy? Really happy? Whether the family system is well settled? So many issues are there, and possibly coming together of this, my dear sister Alka ji and our friend Mr. Ajay Kumar Sahab, and with the lead of our School of Government, should resolve some solution. As I told you, friends, I don't know, I should not say that I have only the understanding, but this installation of the statue of the Chinese philosopher in the dome in India, which is now more known, I repeat again, in the whole world, not the biggest dome, that is not important. Biggest structure is not important. But the message, the very concept, which through the men of science, men of spirituality, and men of philosophy, and he is a great philosopher from China, who has been installed in this very city of Pune, and possibly he is conveying the message which he thought then. Can you imagine 2000 years back, why a person like Yuan Sang should think of coming to India? How he must have come? What path he must have chosen? So what is this philosophy of life? What is the philosophy of philosopher saint of India, Sant Dhaneshwara? 720 years back, 28 years back. He speaks the truth. He says, rising of the sun in the east and going to the west is an illusion. Makes a very scientific, logical, philosophical statement at the age of 16 years old. 16 years age. And he speaks the wonderful truth of the scientific, logical and philosophical narrations of life. And what should the global society has been narrated very uniquely, and possibly this hall where you are discussing is in the name of philosopher Sant Dhaneshwara. Not because he is an Indian. He symbolizes the knowledge divine. He symbolizes the knowledge and wisdom. How to live and how let others live. And if you understand and give some message from the School of Government's mission and all the people from the ICS and all these institutions coming together, I'll be really happy that we have done our duty and possibly bring them closer. Network of minds, networking of people. I don't want to comment on the heads of states. Possibly if they think on these lines, especially when India and China's relationship about the philosophy itself, how to live and how not to live. It is said that the law of life must run close to the law of any nation, Rule of any nation must run close to the rule of life of the people, and rule of the life of people, how to live, how not to live, is decided by the people themselves, which is the law of nature. And the law of nature is common. It cannot differ. The law of nature is one and the same for every one of us. Even the smallest of the smallest insect, the smallest living cell, which is not seen, but the mechanism is same. The mindset is almost similar. And we are here to change and network and join the mindsets and create a universal mind. That is our mission. Possibly this subject, what I'm trying to talk, is little in a different mode, but that has been the mission of this World Peace University, and we have been trying to understand what science stands for, what modern technology is meant for, and what the spiritual component of life, the soul itself, the nature of the life itself, is the nature itself, how it can help to build up a global society, a peaceful global world. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to invite upon the dais Dr. Aravind Yelery, convener, 7th India Forum on China at Pune, Honorary Fellow, Institute of Chinese Studies, New Delhi, and Associate Professor, Center for East Asian Studies, JNU, to please deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. By definition, vote of thanks tells me that I should shut up and not say anything more, but to thank the audience and everyone over here. I'm very much, convinced that what we have gathered here today and for next 2 days, after listening to the speeches here, I'm convinced that we seriously need to engage in wider thought-provoking sessions tomorrow and day after tomorrow. On behalf of Institute of Chinese Studies, Shivnadar Institute of Eminence, deemed to be university, and then the Center for Himalayan Studies, and MIT School of Governance. On behalf of Parimal and me, I'm going to briefly thank the three institutions and partners for bringing this unique theme in front of us. I must thank Shivnadar for giving important help in terms of finance, in terms of ideations and other things. MIT certainly yes, because of hosting it. Parimal, being a product of his alma mater, JNU, where we come from, was only given 1 month of time. Behind all these smiles you see, there's hard work what we have put down. He was given only 1 month to put things together. Let me also thank Institute of Chinese Studies Chairperson, Srimati Chakravarti, the Fellows Council, the Honorary Director for agreeing to this theme and encouraging us. Apart from these three important institutions, I must also thank Minister of External Affairs and Minister of Home Ministry, Ministry of Home, for expediting the important sanctions and approvals we needed to get the foreign delegations over here. Most importantly, the partners we have, INDSR from Taiwan, two important delegates, and we have one more, Professor Shanming Shru, who is coming and joining us tomorrow. I must thank them throughout these 7 years. They have been providing their consistent support and have been joining this forum. That makes the unique thing, the entire forum. Most importantly, apart from the partner institutions and then the participants coming here, there is always an effort to bring professionals and specialists to come and join the forum. So I must also thank most of the speakers who come from industry academia background for joining, accepting and joining us, and that makes this entire forum very unique. In the end, I must also thank the coordinators from the side of ICS, from the side of local organizers for putting in efforts and making this event. There are a lot of names here, Bhagrashri, Akshat, and I think local names, Akshay, some of the names. Thank you so much for putting this effort and making this entire event successful. I wish that the forum will take serious matters in hands and then convene the sessions day after tomorrow and tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Akshat, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. There's a small announcement to make. Dinner has been organized for all present here. For the dignitaries and the faculty, the dinner will be held at the Buddha Garden. And for the students, it will be held at the guest house. There will be ushers present outside to direct you in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now ask the technical team to please play the national anthem. So I request all of you to stand on the spot. Thank you.
शुभ आशीष